All right, so it's 11:02, so we're going to get started because we've got a lot to do today. Welcome everyone to with Cloud Consult and Nextiva. Together, we're presenting 6 new revenue opportunities for answering service. And presenting today will be Tom Herold from Nextiva, who's the Strategic Solutions and Alliances head of Strategic Solutions and Alliances, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. And JJ Erasmus will be driving today. He's a senior solution consultant 3, and of course, I'll be putting my 2 cents in here and there. So today, what our revenue platform agenda is, and I'll be very brief. It's really about cutting labor costs, using the platform to cut labor costs, to add new revenue streams, and to gain and maintain a competitive edge. And what we're going to be talking about today is the fact that the revenue platform is a toolbox. That's the way to think about it. I can't imagine a solution that or a campaign that your customers come to you and they want you to handle that can't be handled on this platform. I just can't think of anything. But we don't have time to go over everything today. We want to spend about 45 minutes and have some time left at the end for questions. So what we will be discussing today, SMS marketing campaigns, appointment reminders, agentless call handling, the Internet of Things. That's, of course, machines sending in messages saying that they need a replacement or something needs to be fixed. We're going to be talking about employee check-in lines, how they can be handled in a couple of different ways, actually. We're going to be talking about web chat and bots, and digital transcription and translation is you'll see that pop up throughout many of the campaigns that we're going to be looking at today. We won't have time to talk about outbound dialers, and there's a few dialers in the Nextiva platform, a few ways to get calls out, mass notification tools, social media channel support. That's huge. That is money that is just out there waiting to be earned when you offer that support to your customers. We're not going to talk about CRMs and integrations, the agent assist platform, or the workforce management tools in the system. We just don't have time. And those little asterisks next to many of those features that we're going to look at today denotes that it is agentless campaigns. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity to save labor costs with the platform. And I want to let you know that Nextiva is very much supportive of what we're doing here in the telefinancing service business. I've known Tom for almost a year now, and actually we live about 15 minutes away from each other, which was surprising. But when I told him about the telefinancing service industry and the opportunities that we're just not taking advantage of, Tom, and this is why he's head of strategic alliances and so on, because his gears started going and he came up with many ideas about how to use the Nextiva platform to really help you build your businesses alongside of the platform that you have right now. This is not a displacement of your platform, but it's alongside of your platform to open up new revenue opportunities, and again, save labor. And they've done a couple of things to really support me, which I haven't gotten from anywhere else, to be honest with you. They're offering a $15 gift certificate just for attending today. And we're going to be having some polls before and after the presentation today, and you are going to be eligible to win prizes, pretty nice prizes. So they are really very much supporting of what we're trying to do here, and so I'm very happy to have Tom and JJ present for us today. So I'm going to stop sharing and turn things over to Tom at this point.
Thanks, Steve. And all very kind words, and couldn't be more true that we are focused on and look at the telephone answering service business as a very important business for Nextiva. The platform that was described is a really a good way to excuse me, to talk about it as being a platform. And I hope now you can kind of see my slide. But what we really want to share, and we'll get right into the demo because that's the most important part. But how we're changing the game, we perceive this a little bit different. And JJ taught me a really good phrase that our platform is a builder's platform in a buyer's environment. What that means is that we come to the game with a unified platform, comprehensive UCXM or unified CXM being customer experience management, single point of all truth for interactions and consolidation, an opportunity to consolidate vendors into that single code stack. That single code stack supports millions of users today, that's managing and controlling billions of transactions on an annual basis. The architecture, we in the telephone business have talked about 5 nines for years, and everybody lives by the fact that you pick up a phone. I'm old, so you used to pick up a phone, but the dial tone used to be there. It was one of the things that was most consistent. We actually have 6 nines of uptime that we promote with zero maintenance windows. So it's constantly up. 6 nines represents 31 seconds a year. So for a business that is promoting always there, available when the company is not, the backup, it's a really important component. So we believe that. Modern, it was built in the last 6 years, 7 years. So it's born in the cloud. It uses the latest technologies, the latest languages. It's all microservices based, JSON. So that's how we can provide the 6 nines of reliability and the no maintenance windows, just the architecture that gets us there. But what it really boils down to are folks like JJ and honestly Steve that have been in this industry for eternity, like myself. We bring 30 years individually of experience across this and can apply that to it. Steve talked about my gears kind of turning, just the idea of your business and how we help you migrate and produce new revenue streams is very exciting to us. And so the people is the thing that really provides the greatest benefit. Excuse me. So the future customer experience, what we're really going to show you today and demonstrate is that blue bar there, the Nextiva Unified Customer Experience Management Platform. We like to call it a revenue platform. Steve came up with that name, and it completely makes sense because what it does is it enables you to go out into your marketplace, your existing customers and new customers, and offer them innovative services that in most cases should be able to be supported without labor costs or additional staff. So you're producing more revenue more efficiently. And so you see on the bottom, all of those social media channels, like Steve talked about, we have 300 interaction types that we can manage, distribute, and deliver. But it's a unified channel, unified data, the single user interface, and 360-degree real-time view. So you'll start to see these things. I don't want to get too much into just showing you a PowerPoint. I think it's better for me to pass the baton over to JJ, and we kind of get right to the demonstration so you can understand what we're all talking about. I'm going to stop sharing and give it to JJ.
Okay, Tom, can you hear me pretty well? Can everybody hear me? Okay,
Yes,
excellent. Okay, so what I'm going to do is hi guys, I'm JJ Erasmus. I'm just going to pop myself back on video here for a second. JJ Erasmus, based out of Minnesota. Enterprise solutions architect, and I support Tom and specifically aligned to the BPO industry. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take off my video. I'm going to share my screen. So please let me know if you cannot see my screen. Okay. Okay, perfect. So Tom and I'm going to take a look here and make sure that everybody can see my screen. Is everybody able to see my screen? Okay, perfect. So today what we want to do is we're going to run through a few different use cases. We're going to start off with one of the largest use cases, and one of the things that we hear a lot from our customers is the need to be able to send out SMS marketing in real time, right? So we have the ability to do that. Now, what I want to showcase here is this is my cell phone. And I know a lot of you are probably cringing with all these unreads here. It's something that everybody does. But anywho, so this is my cell phone over here. And then I also have my agent desktop on this side. Now, I'm putting my agent in a not ready state so that we are there, it's not ready, everything is good, right? I also have a supervisor desktop that I'll show later on. But one of the things that we want to showcase is how easy it is for us to handle interactions agentless. So what I'm going to do first off is we're going to send out a list. We can send out a list. In this case, it's only going to be one, which is going to be my cell phone. But we're going to send out a list of specific SMSs, and I'll showcase what that looks like as well. So I'm going to quick go here. I'm going to say, okay, this is a marketing promotion. And what we'll do is we're going to see a couple of things happen. First off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to see that there's going to be an SMS delivered to my cell phone. Now, remember, this agent he might be available, but there's nothing happening. The agent is not involved at this point, and we're going to get that SMS marketing message here in a few. Now, how do we get those numbers into the system? There's a couple of different ways. We have the ability to upload a list. Like some of your customers might hand you lists. Some of your customers might have an API integration with their CRM or with their system of record. And all of the above of those are, we do support. So let me take a quick.
Looks like you got an SMS.
Yep. So I just got this message right here from the Atlas Heating and Air Conditioner to take advantage of our $95 air conditioner. So we have the ability to now call and speak to an agent to schedule, or we can just send a link to a calendaring solution. Now, in this example, I just use Calendly real quick, but we also have the ability to hook into Microsoft Office or any other calendaring solution like Gmail or sometimes other systems like your CRM that also has ticketing and calendaring solutions built in. Okay, so what did we just see? We saw the ability for an agentless marketing notification that enables that customer, that end customer, to service themselves. They can call in, they have the ability to speak to an agent, or they can click on the link and schedule their appointment. Okay, any questions thus far, or Tom?
No, I think that we've gone through that one well. One of the things to note is that JJ's talking about options through this, where you have the ability to call in, you have the ability to do that. I think that that's a theme that you should start to think about and see throughout the presentation. You're going to see the flexibility of the platform, that it's full of options. We want to make sure, and I think Steve talked about it earlier, that this is a platform where we don't have to say no, right? I haven't found too many capabilities or requests from our customer base that we haven't been able to fulfill through our tool sets. So thanks, JJ.
Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to do here quick is I'm going to delete these messages that we have here just so that it looks nice and clean. Okay, so I'm going to delete these two messages. We're going to see that come up there. Now, what I'm going to do next is a next use case. So our next use case is going to look at appointment reminders. Now, these are going to be your, medical, where you have appointment reminders, or even, anything from dental, medical, legal. Any of those can send you out appointment reminders. And if you have that appointment reminder, similar to what we saw earlier, we also have the ability to reschedule that. And we can do that within an IVA, which is an interactive virtual assistant, which is what you saw earlier. Because what happens is the agent is not engaged at all on this. So, what I'm going to do here, real quick, is I'm going to send out that appointment reminder. So, with that appointment reminder, I'm going to do that here real quick, and we're going to see that move on. So now, for all practical purposes, I'm going to log my agent out and in because I've got some different campaigns running, but this can also be automated, right? So you don't have to have any type of agent in the system to have this running. So within a couple of seconds here, we should be getting that voice or that appointment reminder within the system. And
Yeah,
after we get that,
yeah, I want to add something because we were going through this all these different scenarios the other day, and we were looking at this campaign, and I was asking JJ, I was like, well, could we do this and could we do it that way and the other way? And he's like, yes, 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 yes. So because with appointment reminders, you can just say, hey, here's a reminder for your appointment. Or you can say, hey, respond with Y or no to do this, or call the office, or click here to go and reschedule, or. And I was asking them all these different scenarios, and every single one was, yeah, of course, it's just whatever you want. So we're showing you one way to do it, but the thing that you want to do is really kind of use your imagination and remember this is a toolbox and I can do it however my customer wants me to do it. I'm not just locked into, what's going on here in the demo, but go ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, so as you can see, that message did come out on this end that says it's a physician's office. It can tell us where the appointment is, and this is all dynamic. So again, this information can come from your CRM. It can come from a system like a health system like Epic, Cerner, all of those, or it can come from a list that is uploaded, right? So we do support all of those mediums and all of those input mechanisms. Again, we can go ahead and schedule or reschedule that appointment from this perspective, or we can call in and speak to an agent. Okay, so what did we see? We saw first off, in the first use case, we saw marketing message that gives us the ability to go ahead and schedule an appointment. In the example that we used was heating and air conditioning so that someone can make that appointment in there. Now, on the second use case, we saw something very similar, which is a physician's office reminder about appointments. However, what we did here is we personalized it a little bit more with that specific appointment in there. Now, we can put any data that we have of that end customer in the SMS. There is some considerations though. We don't want to share any PII, and I don't have to tell you guys this because you've been doing this forever, but that's one of the things that we do recommend looking for is that there's no PII in the messages. Okay, with that said, any questions? Tom, do you want to lead us into the next use case?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on one thing. We talk about a toolbox and the flexibility to answer and say yes consistently. It's important to understand, though, that saying yes doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a developer, somebody that codes. The tools are not necessarily they're not at the developer level, that they're at experienced user level or an administrator level. So we're kind of tailoring an application. The platform, it exists out of the box, and the tool sets is in many ways are configuring checkboxes, drop downs, object orchestration, no code, low code, all of those types of tool sets. But we also get to, that code level where you can have developers. So I don't want people to be afraid of the fact that, oh, hey, they're just going to sell me a bag of tools and I got to go build this platform. The platform exists. It's a matter of tailoring it to your specific needs and the opportunity to dig in and get as detailed and functional as you'd like. JJ, does
Yeah.
that
So
make
one of
sense?
Oh yeah, go. Sorry, Tom. Yeah, one of the things that I'll put a little bit of technical flair to Tom's statement earlier. So, I like to say that Nextiva provides a buyer's experience to a builder's platform, not foregoing any of the builder functionality. So, what that means is, yes, it is a buyer's platform. You can go in and configure things. No, we don't limit you. It is also a builder's platform. We are built on API first, and that is what allows us to be able to update these microservices and really have that uptime, is because everything is built on microservices. We expose about 2,500 APIs, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's only what we expose today, right? So with that being said, I mean, I personally, I used to be with Amazon for about 4 years, Amazon Web Services. So I'm very familiar with the builder versus buyer, and so that's when I came up with that builder buyer example. So, Mr. Tom, Mr. Steve, for the next use case, what I want to do is I'm going to pretend to be a property management company. And for that property management company, what we're going to do is I'm going to call in real quick and I'm going to ask about a new lease. Now, what you'll hear the IVA answer. Now, again, when I do this on my phone is going to say over here that it is in use because I'm going to actually dial from the phone itself. So let me quick call this and we can hear what goes on there.
Hi, thanks for contacting Premier Property Management. If you are calling in about a new lease, press 1. If you are calling in about a service request, press 2. Otherwise, please stay on the line. Thank you. A text message has been sent to you with a link to more information. Thank you and have a great day.
Okay, so instantaneously, one of the things that we have seen is that it is real difficult for people to go ahead and spell their names or say, what all the things are that they want in a home. So we send a link there to get all of this information directly from them, making it real easy for them to type and get their information. So a lot easier than trying to spell it out. But what I'm going to do here is, because I'm using my cell phone, it doesn't really remember all of these things. But here's the other thing about this is we also have the ability to now use this on the cell phone. We can also get things like geolocation or any other type of information that cell phone's API or the cell phone software allows us to. Now, I have the ability to go chat now, or I can just call me. And I'm going to showcase the just call me in a little bit later. So let's go and say chat now. Now I'm interacting with the IVA. As you can see, my agent is still sitting available. And if I sit here, I can say, let's find you a home. Well, now I'm going to put in some information here to find that perfect home for me. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say all of this type of information to make sure that they get the right right home for me. And I'm going to say no, I don't want to put in any additional information. What's going to happen here is it is instantaneously going to tell me, thank you for contacting us, and have a great day. Now, At this point, what happens is we want to instantly notify that property management. So what I've done is I'm going to move this out and I'm going to showcase the Nextiva, um, the Nextiva soft phone app for cell phones. Now this is an Android emulator, and you'll see here that this new lease request came in. It tells me what the phone number is, who it is, what they want, and all that information that we got earlier from that person or that lead is right here. So going to that same theme and that philosophy of supporting a revenue platform, here we've been able to capture all of that information, provide it to the property management company through a text message. We can also do this via API, push it into a CRM. We can create a new ticket for that, or we can send it in an email, a text message, or any available API that we have access to. Now, I do want to quickly point something out. On my screen, you'll see there's some SMSs that says undeliverable, undeliverable, undeliverable. These SMSs, I am working on a shared system. And one of the other engineers actually has a system running that's trying to send an email, and on failure, it sends me an SMS. So I'm sorry, you will see that pop up, but now and then. But I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And JJ, I want to throw in a couple of points here. So, all right. So here's the journey. So somebody calls into the uh, property management company, and the IVR says, "Would you like to, put in a ticket for repair, or would you like to see a new place?" And so they say, "I want to see a new place." So now you can set it up if you say, "Well, I don't want it to default to a message to a cell phone because what if they're calling from a landline or whatever." That's fine. You can change the journey, and you can say, if you'd like to continue via chat, press one. If you want to talk to an agent, press two or whatever, and give them the choice. And so it's easy as that. The other thing is you can actually do the whole transaction using that same voice, and he can ask questions and get answers and give responses and so on and so forth, ask you for the information. The information will get transcribed and so on and so forth. The challenge with that is you really don't know if the callers are on have good cell phone reception, and if the call is clean enough to really for the platform to really understand what they're saying. They could have an accent that could be in a car with the fan running. There's all kinds of things. So this gives you the option to move, channel surf this over to a digital channel, which actually a lot of people prefer because it's quick and it's easy. And then they can say either call me back or, I want to talk to somebody right now. Or you can put in a message, more information. You say, can you call me between 3 and 5? So basically you're giving the customer, or your client is giving the customer control over the transaction, which psychologically is very, very powerful for them because if they're in control, then the next conversation is going to go a whole lot better. So again, you may be thinking in your head, well, I would do it differently. Fine. Awesome. Just know that there's tons of ways to do this. The other thing I want to point out is the message that went to the other phone, the second phone, the soft phone, that was reading a list of, your property management people. Maybe 9 to 5, you call this one, or you send a text message to the office, or you send it to 3 different people, the three, and then the first one that gets the message and calls, whatever, they get the transaction, whatever. It's not I don't want to call it an on call schedule, but what it is a list of contacts, your contacts that at the property management company that are in a list, and the platform is going to look at the list and determine by day and time who to send that message to, or or send it to multiple people, and even send it in multiple ways. It can send text, it can send emails, it can send text to different people and email the office, just so the office has a record of it, that kind of thing. So all those options are on the table. It's just, you can't program everything, you just, so I just want to make sure that we know that these campaigns can go however your client wants them to go.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm
Can I add
thank you
one
for.
more?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, JJ. All of these transactions we're talking about are individual transactions or interactions. But the platform, as you would suspect and understand, is that it's keeping track of all of these, and you have the ability to report more on a global basis. So you could look at how many interactions happened last week, who was it delivered to, what was the content, the transcription. So all of the detail of this can be consolidated into a single report for your customer as well.
right. And one other thing, just say they're calling in, it's a renter and they're calling in because they have, an appliance is broken or whatever. So it's a service call. Well, if they call in on a cell phone that is in the system, in the Nextiva platform, under under the property management account, it will flag that and it will trigger all that information. So instead of them typing it in, it'll just say, hey, confirm this is John Doe at, 123 Main Street, apartment 4, so on and so forth. And so it has the power to do that. And again, save time and cut down on frustration. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and the other thing that I also want to mention is that, when you have things like this cell phone here, and in the next iteration or the next use case, we're going to pretend this cell phone to be exactly what Steve said, right? It's going to look at a list. It's going to see who is active and who is supposed to work that specific service request. So I'm going to quick go in via chat, right? And what you're going to see is you're going to see that looks very similar. It is exactly the same because we are a true omni-channel contact center. What that means is we can standardize that process across all your channels, which gives your customers that a familiar experience across the channel that they so want to communicate. Now, we're going to take it one step further and we're going to say that they can communicate on the channel that they want at the time, at their leisure, right? At the time, at their pace. So if they want to send in a message, they can have that message, right? They can send it in and they can respond to it. We can have that message sit in an agent. If they do interact with an agent, it can sit there, but we can also do it in real time. So we have the ability to do both. We also have the ability to do things like callback, and those are all, table stakes for me. But what I want to do now is I want to showcase some of the service request. So as soon as we do this, I'm also going to type in my information there. Now, again, I have the ability to say, just call me or chat now. For now, I'm going to go chat now. But what I want to showcase is this is exactly the same. Thanks for contacting Premier Property Management. But now it knows that it's a service call. So I can go ahead and I can put my address um, in here. And we also have the ability to go look that up. I can also say, what problem am I experiencing? So let's say we're experiencing an electrical problem. Now I'm sourcing information from that person. Say, yes, I want more information. And I have no electricity. And if I can spell that would be nice too. But okay, so now we send that information on. And what's going to happen is it's going to say, thank you for contacting us. As soon as that happens, we are going to get an on-call tech. Again, a new service request from that phone number. Name is Joey Dunlop. Problem type is electrical, and this is the address. So we can communicate with that on-call tech on their cell phone. We can communicate on any other phone that is text message enabled. We can send that via an email as well. All of the above. Now, one thing that I do want to point your attention to is that this here is my Nextiva soft phone. This is my Nextiva soft phone that I have the ability to get to make and send messages from. This could also be your cell phone. If I had my cell phone in there, it would go to my cell phone. So any SMS capable device can be this on-call tech. Okay. Any questions about that?
Yeah.
Okay,
JJ,
perfect.
we didn't really show it, but there's always opportunity for that on-call tech if they needed more information. Obviously, they can call the customer, interact with them, drive the interaction. So it really is enabling them at that point to go do what they need to do. But we can also put things in there that might drive back into the contact center or to your agent. I need to have more information about this caller. Can you provide X or Y? And so if there was some sort of voice information or interaction, all of that history is customizable and deliverable.
Okay, perfect. And just as Tom said, click to dial on the cell phone specifically works. You just click and it'll dial that using the Nextiva soft phone. And my phone is ringing right now. So just a click of a button and your on-call tech can be connected with that customer instantaneously. Now, one of the things that I also want to do real quick is I want to showcase exactly what Tom just said, is having that voice interaction. So I'm going to go back to my main chat, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say I want other. So we've seen sign a new lease, we've seen request service. I'm going to do other, and I'm going to ask them to just call me. Right now, as soon as I say just call me, this is going to say thank you, an agent will call you shortly. And we're going to see on this agent here that agent is going to make an outbound phone call. So it is going to take a couple minutes or a minute or two for this to happen, and for that call to be sent out. That is going to be the system is going to see that as a callback. But I want to take, while that is taking some time to process, I would like to take this time to open it up for any questions. Do you have any questions? I mean, we've been talking a lot. We saw a lot of SMSs. We saw a lot of interactions via SMS. Do we have any questions thus far?
None yet, but we didn't give instruction. If you had a question, you can type it into the web chat and we'd be happy to answer them. Also, Steve, I'm not sure if they raise their hand, if you can unmute or not, but just want to make sure that those options are available.
Yes, I can unmute. So if anyone does have questions.
Okay, excellent. While we're waiting for that callback to happen here, what I'll do is I'm going to bring up a quick, because we have so many SMSs going on. What I want to do is I want to showcase something else. We also have the ability to report. And if you look at my Docker browser, you'll see that this is a supervisor. Now, our reporting, we have the ability to report on the delivery of each of these text messages. So I can individually see each of these text messages and if it failed or if it did not fail. Unfortunately, I do not have the capability today to see if it was delivered. I do have capability of that, but it's not reliable on some of the providers. Some of them, like T-Mobile, is a little bit different. But what I wanted to showcase is, did you see on the corner that callback be delivered to my agent? Right. So now I have the ability to see exactly what that person wanted. Okay, they wanted, their intent was other. It's Joey Dunlop. I have all of the information right here. And I can go ahead and I have a screen here to say what it is. Now I can click on this button and instantaneously I am talking to this person, Joey Dunlop. When I talk to Joey Dunlop, there's a couple of things that you'll see. You're going to see that we have the ability to do real-time transcription, right? We have the ability to do sentiment. So the agents can see all of the information at their fingertips. They also have the ability to go and service them. Now, this is all integrated with the CRM. So I can go apartment, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, right? So everything that caller or that end customer could do, now I can help them through that as an agent and say additional information, Lakeshore, please. And I now have the ability to help them through that process. Not only that, I also have the ability to see what was their experience for this specific interaction, as well as how they interacted with the system in the last few days, or I can go ahead and look at the history. I can specify last 3 days. And I can see, hey, this Joey Dunlop guy is calling in a lot, right? There's an inbound call here. What was that? All the information. I have the ability to now go ahead and look at all of this information as well as see their journey, what they did. If there was a recording on the system, I could listen to the recording right from here, etc., etc. So now I'm talking to this. We have a callback call. We can see that it was a web callback, what the time was for the web callback, and I can conference all of these things that you would expect from a regular contact center solution. Now, when I terminate this, a couple of things are going to happen. Automatically, we're going to get an AI-derived summary. This summary is going to give us information about what happened in the call. And I'm going to show this. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. But we can say expresses confidence in his ability. We have the ability to do real. Now, if you remember, that was what I said earlier. So it will summarize it. It will also tell you what the sentiment is for the caller as well as the other one. I put it on mute, so we're only going to have one-sided. But we can also see some key points. And for us to be able to get this, we can automatically push this into a CRM. Now, we all know AI is also just as smart as it is. So if I can say here, Joey Dunlop's confidence in abilities, I can change this in the Nextiva contact center platform. Okay. So I do have the ability to do that and edit it as well. I can disposition this, and I have the ability to select different dispositions, and I can report on those dispositions, right? I also, so that all good in that system. I have the capabilities of going through that whole process as well as view all of the items in there.
Hey, JJ.
Okay.
I think, Steve brought up a really good point the other day when we were talking through this, and we've all been in the contact center business for forever. I always kind of laugh and say that the agent's first job is to try and figure out how not to do their job. And so the adjustment of that AI, they do have the ability to improve it, which could lead them into improving it to their own benefit as opposed to the company's. There is a lineage to that, so you'll be able to see if somebody's trying to game the system. And so, everything in a contact center has an action and a reaction or a repercussion to it. We recognize that, and there are tools that allow you to see where and how those are being changed.
Yeah. And I just want to add also, because I know we only have a few more minutes before we go into questions, but That, what you just saw there, the agent summary, that is part and parcel of the system. It's not like an add-on or something like that. There is a usage cost. If you can use it, you can not use it. If you use it, there's a very, very small usage cost. But the great thing, if you have anybody on a CRM, you really want to put them on a platform like this because, if Tom, Dick, and Harry are taking calls, all day long, well, the way that they summarize the conversation and then that gets put back into your customer CRM is just a little bit different. I mean, some people can spell, some people can't. Some people are articulate, some people are wordy, some people don't give enough detail, whatever. It's all over the place. And so it would drive me crazy if I went into all these records in my CRM and all the, there's just not a standard format of reporting on the calls. So what you can do with that AI summary is you can basically template it. You can say, okay, I want a subject line, I want the main points bulleted, and I want this. I don't want this. I want it to be this length, and so on and so forth. And that way, every single message that gets sent back to the CRM is very, very consistent. And man, you look like a star. Like if you have anybody on a CRM, I strongly, strongly recommend that you migrate that account over to a platform like this because that is just a complete winner. First of all, I said I wasn't going to talk about. I said I wasn't going to talk about CRMs. I can't help myself. They can seamlessly connect with anybody. It's easy. They do it all day long. And with that tool, with that formatting tool, it's just a winner. It's a winner. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking because we got a couple of other scenarios to look at.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Steve. So what I did is I also, so the next use case is kind of similar to, not similar, but it is with relation to, IoT. Now, all of us know that, with IoT, a lot of these fridges and freezers and things like that that's out there in the field have the ability to send diagnostic codes. Now, some of them use APIs, some of them use emails, some of them use, different mechanisms to report to to a servicing company like an Ecolab or, equipment care scenario where they need to go service that specific device. Now, for what I did here in this demonstration is I sent this email. You see that I sent this email at 10:46. It took a little bit, took about two minutes to come through, but I sent this email out from an Everest fridge, diagnostic code, and the location where it is. It's Phoenix Commercial Refrigeration. It's this fridge, and it is that diagnostic code. Okay, so what happened when I sent that? When I sent that, automatically we got a text message again to that on-call tech saying service needed for an Everest diagnostic code, and the servicer is the Phoenix Commercial Refrigeration. Not only did we get that, but what I want to showcase is that we also have the ability to notify the actual fridge or any other email address. If we wanted to send a message to the restaurant manager, we can do that as well. Say, hey, your fridge is giving this issue. We're sending a technician right now. But I wanted to showcase that not only can we do text message, but we can also do email. Okay, so here it goes. Thank you for contacting us. It's been, your technician has been notified and will contact you immediately. Okay, so what did we see? We saw an email go in automatically from an IoT device, be it a fridge, be it a washing machine, a dishwasher, any of the above. We can do that via email or via API. Now, email came in, the system processed that email, and it sent a message to that on-call technician to instantaneously be able to service and or contact that restaurant owner. Now, we also sent a message back to that fridge saying that someone's going to come and service you, or we can also send that to the restaurant manager or to any other destination as well. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to add, we were talking about this yesterday while we were going over these different scenarios, and Tom came up with a great point. It's like, we know that the electricians that we support, they have all these freezers and everything at Burger King and restaurants and, refrigerators and commercial side. But, there's also the domestic side. Imagine that they're putting in high-end refrigerators and, all kinds of different appliances to their customers. And there's no reason in the world that when they set up that equipment that they can turn on that can activate those error messages to come to you. So they're not only getting the commercial information, but any of those high end or not even high end, but regular appliances that they're installing today, most of them are going to have that capability. So now you're driving revenue on behalf of your customer back to your customer, making them look like all stars. This Internet of Things, this IoT Internet of Things, it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so this is a perfect, very, very efficient way, again, agentless, to handle all these transactions. They won't go into an Outlook where now you're surfing through there trying to find them, going blind for any kind of error messages. They come right into the center, and if you've programmed it to basically send it right out to the technician, then again, you don't even have to handle it. So I want to put up a quick poll here for a moment, and this is a poll about channel surfing. What we talked before about callers who would rather speak to an agent or go through a digital channel like their phone or something like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys fill that out. What kinds of callers would opt to jump from voice to digital? And select all that apply, because we have some data on what kind of callers would opt to speak to a live agent, and which kind of callers would opt to speak to or go through a digital channel. So I'm getting some responses here.
Okay.
But
So,
I'll keep that up to the side and let you keep going there.
Okay, perfect, Steve. So while you answer that poll, there's a couple of things that last use case that I want to showcase. Last use case that I want to showcase is an employee attendance line, or being able to think about it this way. You can do K through 12. Is my kid going to be at school? Is he not going to be at school? Or restaurants, are the waiters going to be able to make their shift or not? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call in, and this is going to be a voice interaction. So I want you guys to listen very carefully and let me know if you can't hear the phone.
Thank you for contacting Telephone Answering Service. Please enter your 6-digit employee ID number.
And I'm going to type in my employee number, and this can be read from a system, from a third party.
If your name is Tom Harold, press 1. Otherwise, please stay on the line.
So I'm going to press 1.
In a few words, what can I help you with today?
I'm sick.
I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling well. How long will you be out?
3 days.
Thank you for letting us know you'll be out. A text message has been sent to you with a confirmation number.
Okay.
Acting Telephone Answering Service, and have a great day.
Okay, excellent. So what did we hear there? We heard that I was able to go in and I was able to report that I'm going to be late. We can now also see a message right here that says, thank you for letting us know. For 3 days, your confirmation is this. Now, again, what I want to do is I don't want to limit us into what we're seeing. Remember, we saw a couple of things today. We saw integrations with APIs. We saw SMSs going in and out. We saw emails. We also saw notifications. Now, what I can do with this and where we can go with this is we can write this to a CRM. We can notify people about this. We can say, to the restaurant manager, just like we would for the fridge, we can say, hey, you're 2 people down today, right? You need to work on something to get that figured out. And then they have the information that they need to be able to service their specific customers as well. Okay, so with that said, I know that we're going almost at time here, but I just want to quick run through some of the things, just a recap of what we saw. One of the things that we saw was SMS
Actually,
marketing.
JJ,
Mhm.
we have a couple of questions,
Oh,
and I
okay.
know we're very short on time, but this has been great. I just want to make sure we get these questions in. One of the questions, is there a HIPAA compliant version of this service?
Yes.
Okay. Um, and
Hey, real quick, yes is a good simple answer, but understand our platform not only is HIPAA compliant, but it's third party certified. And so with the BAA, we'll be able to provide you and your customers the assertion that it exists and it is compliant.
Now, one of the things that I also do want to mention about that is you saw that real-time translation, all right, or not translation, transcription. Now, in that real-time transcription, we also do have the ability to redact personal identifiable information. So we do have the ability to automatically redact that as well.
yes, and there's two things, very important things that we didn't have time to mention, really. Anytime you're on a digital channel, you're sending an SMS, you're on the web chat, anything like that, we can do an instant translation. For instance, if the conversation starts off in English and then all of a sudden your customer, your caller, or the person on the other end of the chat breaks into Spanish or German or French Canadian or whatever, the system auto analyzes that and realizes it's another language and translates that language into the agent's language. And then when the agent responds, it translates it back into the French Canadian. So it's automated. It's however many voices or languages that Google has today. I mean, every time I give a number, the next day it's higher. So, is it 106? Is it 116? I don't know. But, likely we're going to have the language that you need. So, and that is part of the platform. That's not additional, that's part of the platform. And then I have another question here. What is the estimated cost per interaction? And this is for the Tom, this is a question for you. What is the cost for interaction for the AI summary, agent summaries?
So the AI summary goes to, I think it's generally about 6 cents per minute. So, that when you talked about the value add and the cost, it's incredibly cost effective to add to an agent. It provides a real ROI in a short period of time. The value that you described, Steve, where you can provide a formatted and verbose, common summary of the conversation at 6 cents per minute of the conversation. It's clearly you find that to be a cost-effective ROI.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, it looks like we're out of time. So what we're going to do is I have everybody's survey questions, and we're going to go ahead and send choose 3 prize winners and send you a prize by Monday. And I also want to invite you, if you want to learn more, contact me. Obviously, there's so much more to the platform. Contact me, and we'll set up a time to get with Tom and JJ and go into more detail specifically about what it is that is important to you and you're looking for, and what would be the low-hanging fruit for you to start using this to move some of your campaigns over to an agentless situation or meet some needs that you haven't been able to meet with the platform right now. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Tom and JJ. Really appreciate your expertise and your time. They put a ton of work putting this together specifically for our industry. So thank you so much, and thank you for your contributions as far as the prizes and the gift cards. We feel your support, and we really do appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, and we look forward to speaking with you very, very soon. Take care.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.